Welcome to Wax and Comical, the podcast where we talk about wax and the different types of wax that you get from candles of assorted sizes and various flavors.
They told us it was a niche market to try to target, but you know what?
We said, God damn it, we'll do it anyway.
And here we are, broke as we began. Today we're talking about Daredevil waxes.
How much he waxes?
And Punisher waxes.
Oh, yeah, he definitely waxes. Like, you gotta stay smooth when you're fighting that much.
Helps him slide off of other people. You know, no one can get a grip. It's like a Turkish oil wrestling.
It's a real grip.
Yeah, so this is our pre-Daredevil Season 2 episode, since that comes out this week.
Very soon.
And we will be watching it, so you should be watching it.
You should definitely be watching it, otherwise you're just a bad person.
To be fair, you probably are anyway. You, specifically, person listening to this.
Me. Oh, I thought you meant me, Dane.
No, what? No. Hey.
Me, Dane, bad person, man.
No. Dane, no. You're fine.
I'm okay.
Everyone else, though, nah. We'll mostly talk about Mark Waid, his run of Daredevil, which mostly had art by Chris Samney and a few other people, but mostly Chris Samney. And then also The Punisher. So we talk about Welcome Back, Frank, which was Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's, or part of their run on Punisher. So you should read those things.
Yep.
After you listen to this. Or before.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Time is
meaningless.
Enjoy the show. Excited for Daredevil?
I am very excited for the TV show?
Yeah.
I am very excited for Daredevil.
Also the comic that we will be talking about now.
Also that, I enjoy that. And I'm very excited to read the first volume of the new series. Mostly because I want to know why the hell his identity is secret again. Which I'm fine with.
I mean,
I'm fine with that fact, but I want to know why.
We talked about that before, but I think the last time we talked about it was before Secret Wars ended, and so at this point, couldn't it just be that that's just how they remade the universe? Like,
yeah,
it was just a favor to him.
Well, no, because Foggy remembers.
Well, yeah, I mean, just go back to the point before everyone knew, because Foggy knew.
Well,
for a while.
I think it's that Foggy knows why everyone forgot.
Oh,
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I read the first issue, and again, it was a long time ago, but not a long time ago, but when it came out, and I'm pretty sure that Foggy. I'm pretty sure Foggy references like something that he did to make everyone forget.
Okay, maybe Foggy made a deal with Mephisto or someone
to dissolve him and Matt's marriage. So that's, I mean, they should at least keep Karen in the know. She's cool. I like her.
Do you mean Kirsten?
I do mean Kirsten.
Because Karen's pretty dead.
Karen is, yeah, okay.
She's been dead for a long time.
Not Karen. Kirsten Ritter.
Still no.
Kristen Ritter. Sorry.
Kristen Ritter. Or Kirsten McDuffie.
Yeah.
DA, or was it assistant DA?
Well, she's a woman. Of course she's an assistant DA.
Yeah. She's like the Laurel of the comic, but better.
Yeah, in every possible way. And like some sort of ambiguous ethnicity. Her dad's a white, though.
They referred to her as Irish. I noticed in one of in the first volume that Mark Waid did, and it took me a second. I was like, who are they referring to as the Irish woman? Wait, Kirsten?
The one named McDuffie?
The one with very dark skin, though?
And dark hair?
She looks, I assumed, Hispanic before that.
Hispanic, maybe Asian Indian. Is that a term? Asian Indian?
I mean, India is in Asia, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, like the Asian version of Indian, not like the American version of Indian.
It's like saying Georgian American.
Yeah, do you not say that?
No, I don't.
Also, Georgia's in Europe, dummy.
Okay, fine. Tennessee and American.
Tennessee's in Poland.
I don't think it is. You're thinking of Warsaw?
There's more than one place in Poland, Luke.
Okay,
I wouldn't know any of those places.
Other. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I wouldn't know. Tennessee.
Damn it.
Because you're the only 10 I see.
Oh,
girl
flatterer.
With a U. So Daredevil's real good.
That it is. Do you think the new season will match up to the first?
I've heard it's better.
From who? Who could possibly know that?
I don't remember, but some.
Is it the director? Because I think they might be a little biased.
Stan Lee. I don't see the point of like publicizing Stan Lee's opinions of Marvel things, because he's not going to say he doesn't like any of them.
Yeah.
The worst he'll do, like the worst, like his worst insult would just be like, "It's not how I would have done it," but it's Excelsior.
I mean,
like
nothing's how he would have done it anymore. He's kind of old. He's got
it's
some
like
outdated
asking
views.
Yeah, and make him fight God. It's like asking the actors on during a press junket what they think of the movie that they're advertising. Like they're not going to say it's bad.
Shit.
Yeah, like it's not until like a few years later that they're allowed to be like, yeah, that movie was terrible. So it's an empty question, empty article. It's just negative space on the internet.
Did Stan Lee actually say anything? Because
about Daredevil, he said it about something.
Well,
I was just because obviously that's going to be a thing in the next few days. Stan Lee's opinion on Daredevil season 2, Excelsior.
He said repeatedly, ad nauseum, as he was wheeled away.
Well, as his nurse changed his colostomy bags. He has several. How long do you think he's going to live?
Forever, I want to say.
He said Captain America 3 is going to be his last cameo.
Because he knew.
That's kind of creepy. Like, what if he dies right after or right before?
I mean, it's already been filmed, I would imagine. So
yeah.
He could be dead right now.
Right? Meow.
Wouldn't we feel terrible?
But I mean, like, why? Why would that? I mean, like, why would that be his last one? It's not like they can't just put up a green screen behind him in his sick bed and have him film something for another movie.
Just have him play an invalid in every movie from now on.
Yeah, like they don't need to fly him out to anywhere. Like those movies are 90% green screen anyway at this point.
You're not wrong.
I know. Yeah. I don't even care about his cameos, to be honest. They just annoy me at this point because like people in the audience will like make noises like, yeah, I know who that is. Everybody be impressed with me. It's like we all know who that is, Dick Breath. I did hear season 2 is going to be better, which I have no doubt that it's going to be better. He's fully Daredevil the whole time now. We don't need like we didn't get like an overabundance of origin story, which I liked, just flashbacks.
Yeah. Like it was worked into the series, it wasn't just right.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get more, in the next season we'll get more of him as, a kid or a teenager.
Probably him meeting Elektra.
And maybe we'll actually find out what the hell was going on with Stick.
And the Black Sky thing?
Yeah, Black Sky and the Chased and the Hand and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see Punisher. Like that's what I'm most excited for this season.
I was a little I was unsure what to think when he was cast, John Bernthal.
Yeah.
It was like all I've seen him as is Shane, and he just I couldn't see him as anything else. But hopefully he can.
I wanted to know what kind of voice he was going to use because I've only ever heard him as Shane or his real voice, which makes him sound like a surfer. Like he just talks like Spicoli.
Oh yeah, that's right. It reminded me. The only other thing I've seen him in was one episode of How I Met Your Mother,
where he played Carlos.
Carlos, yeah, that was it.
Oh, he was in that video with Mark Pellegrino where he crapped himself right when he died.
His last
but
words.
He pretty much used his Shane voice.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he does something different.
Oh, he does. Yeah, I mean, I meant like before. He's been in trailers talking, so he just sounds like a normal person.
But like, who's been to war?
But like filtered through that face with those upside down ears and broken nose.
It's distinguished. He got them in Vietnam or Iraq or wherever he's been in this show.
Probably the Gulf War or Iraq. Yeah.
How old is John?
Is there a name for the Iraq-Afghanistan war yet? Like, because that's a mouthful. We need like a name.
And it's not just one country, so you can't just like call it the Iraq War, I imagine.
Well, not with that attitude.
Iraq War was an armed conflict that began with 2003, officially withdrew in 2011, but became re-involved in 2014. Apparently it's just called the American-led intervention in Iraq right now.
Jesus Christ, that's a mouthful.
Right. Let's just call it World War III.
Yeah, just call it something cool.
Space War. Star battle.
Just to confuse people in the future.
But anyway, Daredevil.
Yeah,
we can't really
he's gonna wear his costume. He wears sneakers with his costume, which I didn't notice in the first season.
For sneaking.
You'd think you'd wear tabby for that. Ninja shoes.
Yeah, he's not. He's American, though.
That's fair.
Probably hasn't even heard of those.
The actor's not American. He is very British.
Is he more British than other people? Is that what you're saying?
His last name is Cox with an X. Of course he's more British than other people.
And he doesn't laugh every time he says it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you know he's British. Is that he accepts it with a grim dignity.
He's got a much drier sense of humor.
I think Kingpin's in it again.
Just in jail, calling hits.
But that shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Like, I read an article that was like, "Look who was seen on the set," and it's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't he be in it? They've only got 13 episodes a year to fill the story. They're not going to just not have one of the main guys from last season in it.
Yeah, who was fantastic.
And super autistic.
Right, but like in a very entertaining way.
In a very entertaining, strength of 10 men kind of way. Which I didn't know autistics had. I thought that was our friends with extra chromosomes.
Hermaphrodites?
Hermaphrodites, exactly. All that testosterone and estrogen mixing together. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if any of these things I'm saying are accurate.
Well, it's like when a warm front and a cold front come together to make a tornado.
And it makes a tornado of fists and kicks, punches and headbutts. And wham!
It's about as coordinated as a tornado too.
Beautiful violence.
Do you think Punisher is going to be like the antagonist throughout the end?
That's what I've heard, but there was some this was just a few days ago. There was some synopsis I read that described the three of them, Daredevil, Elektra, and Punisher, having to come together to fight an ancient evil that comes to Hell's Kitchen.
You had me until Ancient Evil.
Ancient Evil, which sounds stupid, but I assume that just means either the Hand or the Chaste.
Yeah.
So it's probably the Hand, because I've seen previews where they're fighting, like promo videos, not like actual scenes where they're fighting ninjas.
Well, I mean, of course.
So I'm guessing they team up to fight ninjas.
Maybe, but I mean, of course they're going to have like smaller villains throughout, because it can't just be like Daredevil meeting up with Punisher and exchanging.
It can't be Daredevil not arresting Punisher, and it can't be Punisher not killing Daredevil for 12 episodes until the end.
Granted, I would watch that.
Oh, absolutely! Like just 13 hours of them fist fighting with no plot.
They just they get separated at the end of every episode and come together halfway through the next one.
It's very Looney Tunes. It's the Roadrunner versus Wile E. Coyote, but except both of them are the Roadrunner.
Or like
they both win every time.
Or like in Scooby-Doo, where they're like in a hallway, and every time they go into a door, they come out another door.
Yeah.
But they just can't
they're
catch each other.
Around. Sometimes they back up into each other by accident. In the promo video I saw, Punisher walks out onto the street lugging a giant minigun.
Seems unwieldy.
I guess to fight ninjas.
And there's no way that he can get away with it, which means he'd leave it behind, which means he's probably going to get caught.
Well, everyone knows that he's the Punisher. It's not like Frank Castle is a secret identity.
I mean, it might be in the show.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it will be, as long as he wears a mask.
True. I mean, I just imagine it would start out. I obviously I don't know anything about what's going to happen, but I would think
obviously. So maybe you shouldn't be talking.
I would think he would start out not as the Punisher, just as Frank
because he doesn't wear the skull at first. But I have seen pictures of him in the skull, and it's pretty sweet.
Just some pictures you found.
Yeah, I drew them.
Are you a paparazzo?
In the promo, actually, when he has the minigun, he's wearing it's like body armor with the skull, like painted onto it, and the leather trench coat. It's pretty friggin' great.
He's everything I want to be.
And his hair's a bit longer than the first pictures of him, where he had basically just a shaved head.
Oh, is it like a mullet? Save a mullet.
No, it's just hair at the back. It's basically just hair. It's like Guy Gardner's, like it's just hair on top and then like basically shaved on the sides. But it looks better than, well, because like the other pictures I saw, it was shaved on the sides and then like 3 centimeters longer on top. So it was like distinguishable. Like you knew that it was that he had more hair on top. It was just like, what's the point?
I enjoy The Punisher and Guy Gardner, but that is not a haircut I enjoy.
Yeah, it's not a good haircut.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I imagine there's not a whole lot revealed. I haven't done a lot of looking into the new season, so I don't know what even is known to the public.
Not much. Yeah. I mean, before the first season came out, nobody even knew what his costume looked like until like a day before the season came out.
I feel like I hope it changes a little bit, because at the end of the first season, it just looked like he had a huge forehead that looked really weird. I
think I want to say that he gets another costume, because based on some of the stuff I've seen, his costume gets pretty messed up when he fights the Punisher. Like it looked like the face mask was stitched together in one bit. Like it had come apart, so he had to just like stick it back together. So I'm guessing he gets a better costume by the end.
Is the head part like a helmet that he wears, or is it just fabric?
I think it's both. I think it's like the Flash's. Well, then again, in the Flash, it makes no sense because it's clearly a helmet, but when he's not wearing it, it's like a hood.
It's just limp.
Yeah, kind of like Captain America's in the Avengers. Actually, in the first one, he like when he wasn't wearing it, when it wasn't like pulled off his head, it was just a hood at the back when he was like on a helicarrier, but when he was wearing it, it was a helmet.
Maybe he just puts on a helmet and stretches it over it.
Yeah, I guess. Well, when they released all the promo stuff for that movie, in every promo image, Captain America was wearing like a cloth mask with his ears sticking out. But when the movie came out, he wore, the helmet with the ears covered. Yeah. So maybe they changed it like halfway through production.
Maybe.
Like maybe it didn't test well the cloth mask.
Yeah. Well,
more like Wade.
They do, no matter what they do, I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Oh, it'll be lovely. Though I do hope that they bring the neck up a little bit to cover a bit more of his chin, his under chin. I don't know what the word is for that.
The soft spot behind the chin.
Yeah, the soft spot right behind the chin. Because like the mask at the end of season 1, I do like the costume, but it like didn't go up high enough, so there was just a little bit too much under chin showing. So it looked kind of weird. So I hope they fix that.
I don't remember that, but I believe you.
It just needs to go up like half an inch. Like that's it.
Or else it's just going to bother you every single time. It's
going to bother me for 13 hours this weekend.
Do you plan to marathon it right away?
I'll probably watch like a few episodes at a time. I can't imagine I'll binge watch it. I'm not a monster.
I think we'll do that.
I do other things
this time because we definitely didn't binge watch it last time we watched.
Fuck's sake, man! It took you like 3 months to watch it. Probably more. Probably a lot more. In fact,
paced ourselves.
I actually rewatched it a month or two ago, and I liked it more because I wasn't like just waiting for other stuff to happen. Like I wasn't like, oh, I want this to happen. I want to get to the end so I can see what happens. So I was able to enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, great. It should be. It better be.
The first season was a lot to live up to. Pretty
the first season was that was, I think, better than anyone could have guessed.
Yeah, no, definitely. So what about the comics?
The comic, Mark Waid's run, which was the most recent completed run before Charles Soule took over for all new, all different Marvel now or whatever. I don't know how many titles it has.
It's a mouthful.
Mark Waid is the reason I'm a Daredevil fan. I never really read Daredevil before that. I may have read like an issue that came with a toy I got when I was a kid. Like they used to have these toys called Marvel Legends. They were like really awesome toys. They had like infinite posability. Some toys you could even move their fingers, like Bullseye.
Just Bullseye.
Just Bullseye. For the ladies. And like they would come with like single issues of like old stories or whatever. And there was one that came with Daredevil. I don't for the life of me remember what the issue was about, but I must have read that. So Mark Waid isn't technically probably the first Daredevil I read, but it's the first Daredevil I read, and it's still the best.
Yeah. He's definitely it's the first experience I had with Daredevil since the movie. So, a step up.
Yeah, I did see the movie. I want to see the R-rated version, because I've heard that it's still not great, but it's a much better representation of Daredevil.
Director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. Yeah, and I liked the movie at the time because I was, 13? Is that 2003?
Yeah, just a goddamn kid.
So, when I was that age, I had no ability to critically think about a movie. It was
Plus, back then, they didn't really... good superhero movies were few and far between.
Yeah. It wasn't like
you didn't have much to compare it to. It was like Spider-Man and X-Men was about it.
Yeah. Which, looking back, were a lot better, but, but yeah, I liked it at the time, but it wasn't until later that I looked back and I was like, oh, okay, that was not a
garbage.
Great movie. And Jennifer Garner is not a great Elektra, or anyone else.
And why did they give her an Elektra movie?
I remember watching that. I don't remember liking that. I just remember watching it.
I remember watching it. I don't remember anything about it.
I think she trained on an island. Maybe that was a flashback.
I think she was just on an island the whole time.
I've just been on an island.
I don't know.
I think there was someone who had tattoos that came to life.
Of course there would be.
Because why the fuck not?
Well, yeah, why not? It's Elektra. It's Elektra.
Boogie woogie woogie.
I don't think you can call them that anymore.
Who?
Don't worry about it, man.
What did I say? Oh god.
I heard what you said.
But, yeah, after that, Mark Waid is the only Daredevil I've read since then.
I have all of Ed Brubaker's run, which I'm sure is stellar, but I have not read it yet, because I want to get all of Bendis' run, so I can read all of that straight through. I've got the first Ultimate Collection, but I need 2 and 3.
What's the order?
Order is Bendis, Brubaker, and then there was, Andy Diggle, which I don't care about, and then, Mark Waid. Diggle did, the Shadowland stuff.
Yeah, when Daredevil was possessed by a demon.
By a demon, and he grew to 20 feet tall, and somehow that didn't leave him horribly debilitated and crippled after the demon left his body.
Or at least with stretch marks.
Maybe he has them. I don't think we really see him naked. His body is just a stretch mark.
He's got to be topless in there somewhere. I forget, but
maybe
it seems like something that all superheroes get at some point.
Stretch marks or topless?
Both, but topless.
But yeah, Mark Waid's is pretty much the only run I've fully read. And it is phenomenal. I'm actually a little apprehensive about reading Bendis' and Brubaker's because I know that it can't possibly be as good as Waid's.
Well, if you're just starting over then with theirs, then you'll eventually get to Waid's, and you can
That's
have that
true.
to look forward to.
I'm very much looking forward to rereading Waid's because I own all of it now.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of that right now. I just finished the Volume 3, which is his first run, but it's confusing because that basically means volumes 1 and 2 are just everything that came before that, whereas this is just 20 issues or something. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Let's see, volume 3 is it's 36 issues. That was his first.
Yeah, 36
run.
plus it's got a bunch of tie-in issues.
Plus some tie-ins. So
got 2 Hulks, 2 or 3 Spider-Mans, a Punisher, and at least 1.1 issue.
It was just because a lot of these Marvel series, they've been going since the 60s, but are only now at volume 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. You mean? I thought you meant the book.
No, and that's another thing. They both
collected
called
volumes. Yeah,
it's confusing as hell. So I finished the first Waid run, which is volume 3.
Bendis' and Brubaker's were part of volume 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then his was volume 3, and then he also did volume 4.
Yeah.
And now it's on volume 5.
Yes.
Okay, I got you now.
So I just finished volume 3, which itself has 7 volumes.
Yep.
And then volume 4 is another
4 volumes.
4 volumes, yeah. So it's
the last volume's only 4 issues.
Yeah. I liked the first one a lot better. His first run, volume 3. Probably mostly because that was just what I started with. And then the beginning of the next one is a reboot, almost, where he moves to San Francisco and has no longer a secret identity.
Yeah, I mean, like, he barely had a secret identity before that, but now it's, like, official.
Yeah. He tries to tell people that he's not Daredevil, but
he even wears a sweater that says, "I am not Daredevil."
No one believes him.
Nobody. And his future girlfriend, Kirsten?
Kirsten.
Is it Kirsten or Kristen?
I think it's Kirsten.
Okay. She, like... I'm glad that he definitely was Daredevil, because she goes out of her way to mess with a blind guy.
It's just their way of flirting, right?
Like, she throws crap at him to see if he'll react to it. She gets her boobs out in the office because she wrote "You're Daredevil" on her bra or something like that, and he has to pretend not to notice.
Yeah, and they are both just really getting turned on by it.
Which is weird, because it's like, he has his supervision. He can probably just see through her shirt anyway, all the time.
I don't think that's how it works.
Just let me have this.
Let him have this.
The art is also phenomenal during that run. Like, he almost entirely used like old school style artists. So it looked like more cartoony, but awesome.
Yeah, but like not too cartoony, like not. I don't know how to describe it.
People are proportioned correctly, as opposed to in cartoons where they're usually not.
Yeah, it's still realistic.
It's like, yeah, and it's like a lot of flat colors. I think that helps a lot. So like reds are red. It's not like 15 different shades of red in different areas. It's just his red outfit, and it's awesome.
Solid colors.
But it's Chris Samnee does the bulk of it. But it started off with Paulo Rivera, who is one of my favorite artists, and Marcos Martin, who I also very much enjoy. Yeah, and then like a few people here and there, but mostly it was Chris Samnee.
I forget, you said Marcos Martin?
Yeah.
I don't remember which ones he did.
He did. It was in the first volume.
I do remember Rivera and Samnee.
Yeah, obviously you remember Samnee.
Yeah, did he stick with them for the whole fourth volume?
Not the whole of it, but most of it. I think Javier Pulido did a couple issues. I think he did the original Sin issues.
Okay.
And then there's like a couple of like special issues. Like there's a 0.1 issue and like a 1.5 issue.
Yeah.
And like a webcomic that's collected. Yeah, Daredevil. He is a churchgoer. I don't know if he goes to church, but he's very Catholic.
Yeah, he claims to be Catholic, and then he does a lot of sinning.
Right? He loves cheating on his wives.
Though I guess for Catholic, sinning isn't that big of a deal as long as you confess.
Right?
That's
pretty fucked up. You can do whatever you want as long as you like admit that you did it. That doesn't help anything.
It helps everyone get closure for all the crimes.
It should be like you admit it and then you try to fix it. Like that's what the solution should be. Catholic priests, if you're listening.
Which actually came into they had a little bit of that in the Punisher series I just read, Welcome Back, Frank, which should also play into the Daredevil show. Yeah,
it looks like they do at the very least the scene on the rooftop.
Yeah,
where Daredevil's chained up.
Yeah, but where there's this neighborhood where everyone that comes in to confess to this priest has just finished a bunch of murders. Like,
yeah, he's got like a bunch of bad people. He must have been in like a really bad neighborhood.
I think they said that it was, but so the priest, being a priest, just gets fed up and starts axing them with an axe.
Oh, okay, cutting them up, not like
he's not asking them questions. No, he buries an axe in their chest and then
that makes more sense.
Finishes murdering them.
And then there's that very fancy man who does murders.
The Elite.
Yeah,
he's just like a wasp.
You know, there's actually a sequel to that miniseries.
Is there?
Yeah, Garth Ennis did it. The Return of Ma Nucci.
Huh. With her nubs?
Yeah. And Steve Dillon does the art again. It came out I think it's called Punisher Warzone because it came out around the time of the movie.
Never mind. I don't want it anymore.
Hey, the movie was awesome. Did you ever watch it?
Still haven't, but I know that they did a How This Get Made episode on it.
They did, but they also had the director on and talked about how rad it was.
I'm going to watch it. I'm not... Don't get me wrong.
I very much enjoyed it, because, I mean, I love the Thomas Jane one, but he was, like, too sensitive for the Punisher.
Anyway, that was good.
Yeah.
That was, when did Welcome Back, Frank come out? 2001?
2000.
2000?
It's 2000.
And that was... Were they already done with Preacher at that point?
Yeah, Preacher finished in 2000, so he probably went right into that from Preacher.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah, both.
whole team.
And then they did like an ongoing Punisher series after that in 2001.
Was that Punisher Max, or was that still something different?
That was just Marvel Knights Punisher, so it was still in universe 616. And the Russian came back, and he had breast implants, like really big ones, and a tank top that said Britney.
He was adorable.
And yeah, he talked in the comic as opposed to in the movie where he was just big silent Kevin Nash. You know, I bet he was going to talk, but they were like, "Hey, Kevin, do a Russian accent."
He was.
Oh no, you just stay silent, buddy.
We're just going to cut all that out. He was like a big fanboy, like Phil Coulson in the Avengers. He was just, he just loved all the heroes.
Spider-Man helps him fight the Russian in the ongoing series, and Punisher just uses him as a human shield to like take punches. And Spider-Man passes out, and at the very end, Spider-Man wakes up and he's like, "Whoa, what happened?" And Punisher's walking away, and he's like, "We had a team up. You were great."
Sounds about right. Doesn't the Punisher? I mean, well, I guess that is evidence of it, but doesn't the Punisher kind of hate Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think so, because he's too goody-goody.
Yeah, and
also he has a fight with Wolverine, drawn by the guy who did the first bunch of the boys, Derek Robertson, and they fight a warehouse full of midgets.
Wait,
three of which look like...
They fight each other in a warehouse full of midgets, or they together fight a warehouse full of midgets?
First they're fighting each other, then they fight the midgets.
Okay.
And then they fight each other some more, and Frank rolls over Wolverine with a steamroller and leaves him there. And he blasts his face off with a shotgun, so it's just
how does that work? Does it, like, push him into the ground, or does the steamroller kind of get bumpy?
You know, they didn't specify.
Because you can't flatten Wolverine.
Two of the midgets looked like... Jesse and Cassidy.
I wonder if that was intentional.
Also, they weren't actually midgets. They were people that, they were midgets. Sorry, dwarves. And they were kidnapping mobsters and cutting their, like, shins off, but, like, putting the feet back on, so they were making them into midgets, too.
Is that like Hank Hill's father?
Yeah, like Cotton.
Were they like slightly taller than Wolverine?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I like Derek Robertson does draw him like accurately as his height.
Where you can just kind of
5'3",
put your hand on his head and hold him back.
Yeah, read Greg Rucka's Wolverine, where Derek Robertson does most of the art. It's pretty great how like tiny he makes him in comparison to other people, but still like intimidating.
Oh yeah, he's like a Wolverine.
Tiny and full of adamantium. Just like a Wolverine.
Just like a Wolverine. I was shaving the other day, and Caitlin came into the bathroom right as I had, like, a shaving cream beard. I looked at her and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to look like when I'm old. Covered in shaving cream because of the dementia."
So that's why she left you. Walked right, took a sip of coffee, walked right out the door, and hasn't been seen since.
She'll be back.
They always come back. So I feel like I was going to say something about him, about Daredevil being Catholic.
Daredevil.
This is this is like how you got onto that series, and I don't remember what I was going to say.
10 minutes of rambling ago.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Daredevil is awesome. Mark Waid's Daredevil.
He's a Catholic who decided to be a devil. Is there some sort of a symbolism there?
Yeah, because them Murdoch boys got the devil in them.
That seems like a bad thing, like something he wouldn't embrace.
Yeah, it's okay. He's Catholic.
Yeah, well, they love that hellfire.
That's the midichlorian answer for Daredevil. He's Catholic.
Speed Force.
Speed Force. Everything Speed Force.
Yeah, I forgot how scary, like, kind of terrifying a good chunk of the Daredevil Mark Waid's first run is.
Why? Because at the end with the monsters?
No, the part in the middle with the Coyote, the guy who took
Coyote.
Coyote was the one who stole the Spot's powers.
Yeah,
and
was using them to like make Matt look like a crazy person.
Yeah, and then had a closet full of heads because he had the technology to remove people's heads from their bodies without killing them.
should specify, they were living heads, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were screaming heads. And he fed them like fish. He just kind of like threw some flakes of food out onto them, and they had to fight for it, I guess. As heads.
That would be hilarious.
It looked hilarious, but also terrifying.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And then the Spot, who has the teleportation powers to make holes appear in space-time, I guess. It's kind of unclear what exactly he does.
That's it. That's what he does.
He got all fucked up when Daredevil took him out of the power-sapping machine, and because basically he looks like a person in a white bodysuit with a bunch of black spots all over, and he just had a bunch of limbs coming out of the holes in his body, and he just kind of crawled along on that towards Daredevil.
Yep, body horror.
It was awful.
Because I know you love body horror.
It's terrifying. It's a very broad description of horror, but I hate it all. Yeah. I also liked the... I had forgotten about how like the last 2 volumes of Daredevil in Mark Waid's first run were just him fighting racism.
Yeah, and he accused that black cop of being a racist because he didn't know he was black.
Yeah, that was fun.
I like the little moments of him like, oh yeah, he's blind. But he can only see shapes.
But still, everyone forgets. Even though everyone
no one knows
who
that.
he is.
Well, as far as...
Everyone knows who he is.
As far as kind of a secret identity, nobody knows that. Well, because people think that he's pretending to be blind when he's Matt Murdock.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't think that Daredevil's blind.
They can't wrap their minds around that. The Earth is in danger every single day of their lives.
Aliens exist, and they can't wrap their head around like he's blind, but also...
Aliens exist, and gods exist.
Do stuff. Yeah, like literally gods exist. Many, all conflicting ideologies exist.
Which, again, comes back to it being weird that he's, devoutly Catholic.
He's met Thor.
You've met Thor.
The Fantastic Four have met God. I don't think Daredevil's met God.
Was it the one above all, or whatever they call him?
No, it was Jack Kirby. The Thing died, so they went to heaven to bring him back to life, and Jack Kirby, it was in a Cracked article, Jack Kirby, God, the sadistic bastard, drew Benjamin Grimm back into existence with a pencil, but then, drew the dude, and then just, drew the rocks back over him. So, that means after that, it's just a dude inside of a bunch of rocks, which is even more cruel than just being made of rocks.
Yeah, so he's probably suffocating.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So yeah, Jack Kirby is God in the Marvel Universe, but also Thor and Odin and Zeus. I'm sure every god exists except for L. Ron Hubbard's because that's nonsense.
Ares, right? Isn't he?
Yeah.
Or is that in DC? Is he in both?
That's in both. Yeah, the Greek gods exist in both.
Weird.
Ares was part of Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, which his whole Avengers run is awesome.
Was that before Sentry tore him in half?
That was immediately before. Because there was only 2 volumes of, I guess 3 if you count X Nation, or I don't know what it was called, some crossover with X-Men. 2 Dark Avengers series, or volumes, and then there was a tie-in with Siege, and then Siege where he gets murdered.
I still haven't read any of that.
It's so good. You wouldn't have thought that just a team full of assholes would have been that. I mean, it would have been interesting, but not great. And it's especially Norman Osborn because he's so good at being slimy and getting around things that you hate him so much. But he's interesting to read when Bendis writes him.
I buy it.
And he's drawn to look like Tommy Lee Jones with that hair.
Does he smile? Because Tommy Lee Jones doesn't smile.
Yeah, but it's Norman Osborn, so it's not a real smile.
It's more of a sneer.
Also, he buys out all of the food at a Five Guys for him and the Sentry.
I thought you were going to say he buys out all the food at a soup kitchen and keeps the homeless people from eating it.
I don't know who was at the Five Guys that day.
So let's get back on Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil is phenomenal.
It is. And what else is there to talk about it?
Wait, he's got that sweet crossover with Spider-Man and Punisher.
That's true. And Lady Punisher.
Yeah, Rachel Cole Alves.
Is it Alves? Because I assumed Alves.
I think it's Alves.
Because Alves doesn't sound like a name.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I have no clue. Let's just call her Rachel.
Rach.
Rach.
She Punish.
She's the Punisher, but I don't think she exists anymore.
Did she just die?
Well, she was in that, Greg Rucka's stuff, but I don't remember her ever showing up in anything after that.
Well, she did kind of... Was she...
Oh, wait, I think she was in the pre-Secret Wars series by Nate Edmondson.
Because I was going to say, I know at the end of that crossover, she kind of disappeared, and it seemed like she was running off, but I haven't read...
Nah, she stuck around.
Okay.
I have that series, and they ended with a miniseries called Enter the War Zone, where it's Punisher versus the Avengers. And he gets arrested at the end. He gets put in this prison that's...
I would think he would get arrested at the beginning.
No, he does pretty well against the Avengers. Though Thor does knock the crap out of him, and then they have a beer together.
That's sweet.
But that was the run actually when Punisher looked like Snake Plissken, or Solid Snake for a lot of it, or Naked Snake, I guess, because he had an eye patch and a headband, or a mullet.
So we're back to Snake Plissken.
It was like a snake, Solid Snake mullet, or Naked Snake.
Right.
Big Boss. Kiefer Sutherland. But yeah, he gets arrested at the end. Tony Stark puts him in a prison that's designed so he can't get out. He totally does somehow, but I don't think they ever explained it, because suddenly he was on the Thunderbolts after that.
He just shoots the lock with the gun they forgot to take away from him.
The gun that he keeps down his throat like Harry Houdini.
Oh, God.
He has his hand was broken, so he's got this mechanical thing on his hand to keep it set, and he looks at it meaningfully. So I'm assuming, no, it's like metal, but it's
a metal cast.
It's like metal wires with little things on it to keep his hand set, to keep the bones together. And he looks at it meaningfully, so I'm assuming he used that to escape. But they didn't really say it.
Just implied it.
Yeah. And then at the end, it shows Rachel being the Punisher out in the world,
replacing him.
Yeah, I mean, until he gets out and joins the Thunderbolt and starts banging Elektra.
Does he?
He does. He gets up in there.
How does Daredevil feel about that?
Have they been a thing in the past 10 years at all?
Not that I know of. She shows
or
up
more?
in Mark Waid's run, but just as...
Does she?
Yeah, he calls her up, and just because he says he thinks best when he spars, and he spars best with her.
I don't know
so
that.
they just kind of... They don't really fight even, because then someone else shows up, the Bullseye's ninjas, I think. And so they fight them instead.
Yeah, did they ever say who Ikari was? The anti-Daredevil?
Not that I remember.
I know he showed up in the second series, but I don't think that we ever found out who he was. But he was a dude who had Daredevil's powers, but he could also see.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that was a really cool reveal, actually. When he's gonna what was it, turn on the sprinklers or whatever, to give him a sensory overload, and he's like, oh my god, he can see.
Well, he does that, and then he reaches for a baseball bat, and Ikari comes around the corner and is like, you should try the red one.
Oh yeah, classic Ikari, who dresses in his dad's fight robes.
Literally his fight robes, are they? Do they?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit. And he wears a demon mask with horns.
Oh, who would do that? Who would wear horns?
Some Catholic nut bar, like the Pope. They should have a storyline where Daredevil becomes the Pope because he's the best Catholic.
Yeah, I would assume Ikari would come from the tests that they were running trying to recreate Daredevil, but
so he's probably just some guy.
But it seemed like those made everyone blind. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had his eyes closed.
that was the trick. Next time you get radioactive material thrown at your eyes, just maybe close them.
What I really liked was the Purple Man story in the second series when he got super depressed because Mark Waid wanted to make him more fun, because when Brubaker and Bendis wrote him, he was super dark. I think it became a joke of how dark he was in those series.
He got possessed by a demon.
This was before that. Because every Daredevil's life just turns to shit all the time.
Yeah.
everyone dies, and Satanity gets sad and murders and stuff. So Wade wanted him to like be more fun, which he was. Like, it was great.
Yeah, and they do mention it a lot. Like, they keep referring to the old Matt and how the new Matt is just so happy. And
like they accuse him of like faking it and stuff.
Yeah, how he clearly must still be dead inside.
But after he fights the purple kids, they like bring up all of his depression, and he's just not able to move. So like Purple Man's about to beat the crap out of him. And then at the end, he's like super depressed still, and he's like crawled into his bed and he's all curled up. And that was just the end of the issue. But in the volume I have, it actually added a page where it's like a lot more hopeful, and he lets Kirsten into his room. It was very nice. It's
probably better, because if not, then that would explain why he's wearing a black costume in the current series.
I like his new costume quite a bit, actually. I like that he's got bandages instead of gloves.
It's going through an emo phase.
And he's got like lace-up boots, so it looks like a bit more realistic as a costume.
Not sneakers for sneaking?
Not sneakers or just boot. Like how do those boots stay up that superheroes wear? Like, don't have laces or anything?
Pym particles?
Yeah, it's all Pym particles and unstable particles and molecules.
Yeah, you have them like too big, and you put them on, and then you use the Pym particles,
and then they shrink. So they cut off the circulation, so you can't feel it when you jump off a roof and land on your feet. So it doesn't hurt.
How would you explain it?
I can't. That's perfect science right there.
Daredevil regularly jumps off of skyscrapers.
Yeah, he doesn't really have physical superpowers.
Nope.
He's like a strong guy who's athletic.
And has a grappling hook.
Has a grappling hook that's also his blind person cane. I liked in the first season when he's asking Foggy to like describe their real estate agent or whatever, and he's like, oh, she's hideous. Said blind people were God's mistake. And he's like that's horrible, Foggy. And he's like, I know. I really like the relationship between him and Foggy.
They were pretty great.
Yeah, in the comic as well.
That's true.
That was super sad when Foggy was dying of cancer.
Yeah, and then when they had to fake Foggy's death, and when he found Foggy's body hanging from a ceiling, but it wasn't really Foggy's body. Foggy died a lot.
I did like that, because the villain didn't know that he was blind, so he was like, oh, I was going to see Foggy's body, and he was like, why did someone hang a doll from the ceiling?
Made of foam. He didn't even know it was Foggy. Like, it
was
supposed to be Foggy.
Shape.
Yeah, he's like, I wonder who this is supposed to be. Oh, well.
Shit, I was going to say something. I don't know.
Foggy's also a lot grosser in the comic. Because
he likes very disgusting food.
Which, at the beginning, it's just like general junk food, and because of Matt's super senses, everything smells awful to him. But then he eats what I believe was a Limburger and bacon cheesecake.
Yeah.
And he eats it like all at once.
He eats it like a cartoon character.
Yeah, like getting fistfuls of cheesecake and then just shoveling them in his mouth.
And then I think his celebration pizza for being cancer free at the end of the second series was some sort of pizza that had ketchup on it and a bunch of other things.
Ugh.
Though to be fair, my dad eats ketchup on pizza.
That's weird.
It is weird, but he also eats like gluten-free and dairy-free pizzas, which is even weirder.
It's already a tomato-based condiment, but it's just the wrong one.
Yeah, right? It's like what if you bit into a pizza and realized the pizza sauce was ketchup? You'd want your money back.
I'd still eat it. But
and you want to punch the chef.
I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'd still eat it. Because it's
you just hate yourself afterwards.
Yeah, and during.
Foggy. That was super sad when he got cancer. And Matt was like, Matt was with him in the during the diagnosis or whatever when the doctor was telling him, and he was like in his head he was like, Foggy's heart. Listen to Foggy's heart racing. He doesn't know that the doctor's going to tell him it'll be okay because he's completely calm. And then you realize it was the reverse. Foggy was calm and the doctor had like the quick heartbeat because he was about to tell him that he had cancer.
Yeah, and he just puts his hand on Foggy's shoulder, and that was like the end of the issue.
Yeah, and then he like couldn't bring himself to go see Foggy because of all the chemicals from the chemo, but he made himself do it anyway because he's such a good goddamn friend.
Yeah, he comes in the first place and is like gagging and has to run out to vomit in the bathroom, and then he comes back
like a pretty girl.
Or like, Foggy's like, you're not leaving, right? And he's like, I'll be right back. And he comes back and is just like mentally steeling himself for it, and is saying,
he's just like, I can't go in there.
Yeah, like I literally cannot. That was a couple of seconds. He can't smell it, but it's overpowering to me. and then he straightens his tie and walks in.
Oh, he's so good.
Such a good man.
And then at the end, like, he pretends to be Akari. Like, he beats the crap out of Akari, and he pretends to be him to rescue Foggy and Kirsten from the Kingpin. And he realizes that Foggy is cancer-free or whatever, and like almost breaks character because he's so happy.
Oh, I forgot about the
paintings.
The Kingpin's paintings where
he's talking to Kingpin, and there's all these blank canvases around him because he can't see them, and it pulls out, and they're all pictures of Daredevil being murdered,
just horrifically.
Classic Kingpin. They had a really good fight actually at the end of that, didn't they? Like really bloody, just beating each other's faces in.
Yeah, it's been a while, and can't wait to get back to it.
Oh my god, I can't wait to reread all that. Shit's tight.
Shit is tight, yo. So who do you think's gonna win? Daredevil or Punisher?
I think they'll end in a draw where they don't agree with each other's views, but they respect them, goddammit. Because,
Or Punisher blows Daredevil's head off, and
takes over as the... well, he takes over Daredevil's show, and now it's Punisher Season 3 next year.
As the Devil. He takes his costume.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see just all that go on.
Yeah. I'm not sure how excited to be for Elektra, because, like, being as how great this show has been, I'm sure they'll do her fine. But since most of the experience I have with her is from the movies,
yeah,
I don't have a good...
I'm not such a fan of her from a comic either, but yeah. I might just not have not read anything good with her, because she mostly just comes across like a dick.
I've read very little with her in it, so...
I think the most that I've read with her is where she's like a villain.
Yeah.
And then Thunderbolts, where she's banging the Punisher.
For some reason, I keep confusing her with Deathstrike, and I know there's no reason I should.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Like, I can't explain it. There are just, like, sometimes where I think of, like, oh yeah, there's that one comic Elektra was in. No, that was Deathstrike.
With her giant fingers.
Yeah.
Tower fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully, she won't be awful in the show.
Yeah, I figure she'll be fine.
And hopefully we'll get to see Punisher just murdering people real hard. Yeah,
because they can get away with a lot in these shows, like the Netflix shows. I mean, in Jessica Jones, her and Luke Cage were just straight up bone zoning.
For like 5 minutes.
And they broke a bed.
Yeah.
Because they're superhumans.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can get away with quite a bit with Punisher. I mean, in like whatever the first episode, I think, where the Kingpin's introduced as, like, when you actually see him, he like takes a guy's head off with a car door.
Yeah, there was also a guy who killed himself by impaling his head through his eye on a...
That dude was a little weirdo.
On like a fence post thing.
Yeah, like a fence spike.
Yeah. Drove it right through his eye.
Classic.
So
classic criminal.
If they can do that, I think they can do pretty much anything.
Yeah, I think that showing people get shot to death is like kind of mild compared to all that.
Yeah. Should we mention the... I mean, we already mentioned it, but say what happens in the rooftop scene, or...
Yeah, go for it.
Too spoilery for the show, since it's probably going to happen exactly like it did in the comics.
Yeah, screw these people. Go for it.
This is in the Punisher series.
Welcome back, Frank.
Welcome back, Frank, where Punisher is gearing up to assassinate this guy. He's been just like murdering this family systematically.
They are criminals.
They are criminals. It's not just him.
It's not just a family.
Finding a family. And so he's got like his sniper perch set up, and Daredevil comes to stop him, but he's already prepared for him and deafens him with some magic speakers that he's got set up. They're not really magic, they're just really loud. And Daredevil wakes up. He knocks Daredevil out. He doesn't just blast him into unconsciousness with sound.
he makes him real tired. Audio Rufalin.
So he knocks him out, and then Daredevil wakes up chained to a post or a brick wall or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah, some sort of like a square brick. Maybe it was a chimney.
Like a chimney, yeah.
Yeah.
He's chained up, and he's got a gun taped to his hand, and before he can really do anything, Punisher explains to him that there's one bullet in the gun, and since the Punisher is wearing Kevlar, his only weak spot is his head. So if the Punisher...
Or arms, or legs, or butt.
Nope, all Kevlar.
To be fair.
Just covered in Kevlar. So the only way that Daredevil can stop the assassination is to kill the Punisher. And Daredevil's like, no, it's not what
Catholic.
I do. What part of that don't you understand? And so Daredevil has like a serious internal crisis about whether he should do it, and he finally decides, yeah, I'll do a murder to save a criminal. And he tries to shoot Punisher, but Punisher took out the firing pin, I think.
Yeah,
because I think inoperable.
I was going to say, I think we must have figured that out, because if there was no bullets in it, Daredevil would have been able to tell, I feel like. So he must have removed something from the gun.
Though he was probably pretty stressed out at the time.
Yeah, he probably wasn't like, oh, I should check this gun for bullets just in case. Because he's like, this is the Punisher, this has bullets in it. I doubt this only has one bullet in it, in fact.
The Punisher's never seen a gun that didn't have any bullets in it.
Guns immediately fill themselves with bullets when he's around.
So,
and ladies fill themselves with sebum.
Sebum?
Yeah.
The oily stuff in your pores?
I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, Daredevil tries to kill him, but is unable to, and then Punisher carries out the assassination and just knocks Daredevil back out and unties him.
Does stuff to him.
And I don't think they really, at least not for the rest of that arc, they didn't meet back up and address it.
Yeah, the final arc of Garth Ennis's Punisher ongoing series was Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Daredevil trying to get revenge against the Punisher for the various wrongs he'd incurred against them.
What kind of revenge? Because I see Wolverine going for a different kind of revenge than Daredevil and Spider-Man.
I think just generally beating him up.
Right.
Teaching him a lesson.
That's fair.
Beating him out of the best friends club.
I would think there'd be some part where Punisher was like, so, you see, Daredevil? We're not so different. You and I.
You and I. I think Spectre Dave was following them around the whole time, too.
In the new one?
Yeah.
Didn't he get his face all fucked up?
Yeah, it was pretty gross, because the artist did not know how to draw scars, so it looked like he just had, poo all over his face.
Yeah.
There was, brown marks all over him.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
So anyway, I think that about does it for Daredevil.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted Daredevil as a topic.
A fantastic show.
Ugh.
And hopefully will continue to be.
And a garbage movie.
We don't talk about that.
Except for when we did before.
I can cut that out. I
That's
won't,
fair.
but I could. I have that power. Just like Jack Kirby.
That's true. I was going to say just like God. But yeah, Jack Kirby.
Jack God Kirby. Yeah. So, hope you enjoy listening to this, and hope you enjoy Daredevil when it comes out, because
if you don't, you're just dead inside.
Who doesn't have Netflix at this point? Because it's the best option for any TV ever.
China? Is there a Chinese Netflix?
Netflix.
Okay.
And on that note...
We're going to go build a railroad.
Is that better?
I don't know. Is there a better when it comes to racism?
Against whites is usually pretty safe.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not even racism. That's just correct.
That's fair.
Because white people are the devil.
The Daredevil.
Bringing it back around.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, folks.